It was a 1-run lead that would last the game as the Astros right-hander Mike Scott started a string of strikeouts that would eventually total 14. And to protect that one run, the Astros played some major league defense. Strikeout 14. It ties the National League Championship Series record. The Houston Astros have defeated the New York Mets by a score of 1-0 on a 5-hitter by Mike Scott. ABC Sports presents the 1986 National League Championship Series Game 2. Matching the champions of the East, the New York Mets, and the champions of the West, the Houston Astros. Well, after last night's dramatic victory, the city of Houston is in a fever. Getting a seat in the Astrodome is one of the toughest tickets of the year. And these partisan fans are determined to be as supportive of their Astros as are the Mets faithful in New York. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. And defense was so prominent in last night's ball game. We expected pitching to be prominent, but I guess you really can't have superior pitching without superior defense, and we got a double dose of both last night. But to that point, let's now turn to Tim McCarver and talk about tonight's pitching matchups, and I think these are two quality fellows.
Well, last night, of course, good defense did accompany fine pitching, and both clubs, Keith, hope that that happens again tonight. Bobby Ojeda on the mound for the New York Mets, and what an acquisition he was. 18-5 over the course of the year, second in the league in ERA with a 2.57, second to Mike Scott, who won last night's ball game. And, of course, what can you say about Nolan Ryan? 4,277 strikeouts lifetime. He's 12-8 this year. However, he was 9-2 in the second half of the season, and that was after he went on the DL, the disabled list, for 2 times, the first times that he went on the DL in his marvelous major league career.
But he's rested. That's the point.
He is rested and throwing BBs.
He's also one of those guys that remembers 1980. 1980 was not a very good year for Nolan Ryan. The rancher from Alvin had just come into Houston, and he was on the mound when they had a chance to win it all and then lost it to the Phillies.
You know, I look back on it, I guess the hardest year I ever had as a professional athlete was 1980 when I came to the Houston Astros as a free agent and having at that time the highest salary paid to a baseball player, and getting so close to the World Series, which was a goal of mine when I came there, and falling short. I guess that year, probably because of the publicity that went with the contract, the pressure I felt to perform well, I didn't have the kind of year that I'd wanted to have. And then getting so close and looking like we were going and not make it. I think in my memory, and to me, that was the toughest year I've spent.
I'll bet you one thing, that this soft-talking, hard-throwing Texan has not forgotten that he let opportunity get away in 1980. One of the memorable plays of the decade will be recounted for you in just a moment.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Mycotin. Mycotin cures athlete's foot.
You have to draw the line someplace, then cross over it. That's how new ideas start, how new worlds open up. Technology from a company called TRW helps chart new worlds. Today, we draw the line where it has never been before. Tomorrow, we'll cross over it. Tomorrow is taking shape at a company called TRW.
This is where it begins. Anywhere there's moisture, there's the chance of catching athlete's foot. This is where it ends. Mycotin. Only Mycotin cures athlete's foot with myconazole, a medically proven ingredient that eliminates athlete's foot. This is where athlete's foot begins. This is where it ends. Mycotin, the end of athlete's foot.
Now let's have some fun for just a couple of minutes. Let's go back to 1980 when Houston was playing Philadelphia in the championship series. It was Game 4 on a Saturday afternoon. Because he was confused. They made no play on him at the time. So there's a man on second and 2 outs.
It's very questionable whether I caught it, but I felt that I came up with the ball. But it was I still really don't know for sure.
And the man most involved in that moment, plate umpire, the veteran Doug Harvey. Doug, surely that had to be one of the most complicated moments you've had in your career.
I would have to say so, Keith, but you have to remember, too, that, complications, that makes the umpire, and how the umpire rules upon these things is what his reputation is built on. And I just look at all of it. Hey, it's a great time out here, and it's a marvelous children's game being played by grown men, and I get a kick out of all of it, Keith, and that was one of the exciting ones. And it was kind of interesting because when I first walked out, I had to ask my fellow umpire to catch the thing. And first of all, I started out, I looked through from behind home plate, and Big McBride was on second base, 15 feet off, looking at me. I just put my hands down. I put him in motion. I said, heck, let him go. I'll figure out something to do with him. Looked up, Manny Trio was almost a second. And I still don't know whether the guys caught the ball or not. So I walked over and asked him, did he catch the ball? And he said he caught it. He said, it's a double play, put him back. And Bill Verdon come running out of the dugout. And I looked over and I said, Billy, I said, I think you're going to get the better of this anyway. Why don't you give me a minute with the bull? And here come Dallas Green running out of the other dugout. So I took on Dallas first. I figured that was going to be the tougher one.
Well, Chub Feeney is here tonight, but he doesn't want any of that kind of nonsense. He wants everything defined, clean, and clear because he's heading toward the end of a fine career. He doesn't want to have to face that kind of a call again tonight. And, of course, Doug Harvey got involved in a couple of scrapes last night on called strikes because Mike Scott's pitch was running all over the strike zone, and a couple of guys really got after him. But, as he said, when you come to the ballpark in this business, you can just plan on expecting the unexpected. And I'm sure we'll have something like that occurring tonight. And who knows, the way this championship series has started, we're undoubtedly going to have some new memories that we can have and hold for years to come. Game number 2 of the National League Championship Series coming right up.
Once guys try the 24-hour protection of Old Spice Solid, they may give up their usual antiperspirant mid-stick.
You're done? Only used twice. Very short strokes.
Fact is, none of these solid antiperspirants help stop wetness as well as Old Spice Solid. These deodorant sprays can't block odor better than Old Spice Stick. So switch now.
Sarge, for you. Hardly used.
Kind of like your comb.
Switch to 24-hour Old Spice, antiperspirant or deodorant.
All I want today is a little Circle K. I want it on my way, want it open night and day. Gotta have it fast, a little faster tank of gas. Don't give me no lines, don't waste my time. Cause all I want today is a little Circle K. All you want today is sitting on the corner at the Circle K. All you want today is sitting on the corner at your Circle K.
An ABC News Brief brought to you by Underalls. Now from Washington, Carol Simpson.
Good evening. The Reagan administration says Nicaragua is holding a captured American as a hostage. And officials say Eugene Hassenfuss is lying about CIA involvement because of Sandinista threats. Hassenfuss told a news conference in Managua his flight into Nicaragua was directly supervised by 2 CIA agents. CIA Director Casey went to Capitol Hill today to deny any responsibility. Now this.
I love chocolate cookies and chocolate cake and chocolate ice cream with chocolate sauce and chocolate chips. But I don't love tummy bulges, so I wear Splenderalls. Pantyhose and control top panties all in one.
President Reagan arrived in Iceland today, and one top official said he's ready to shake hands with Gorbachev on a deal to reduce nuclear missiles in Europe. Later on Nightline, how Sudan's civil war has left 2 million people starving.
One of the more pleasant rewards of having a sports franchise at any level in any city is what it brings. Everybody in the city of Houston could tell you on any street, I think, tonight, who the starting pitchers are. This town is wound up and ready for Game 2.
Every challenge is an adventure. MacGyver, Monday before football.
Let Kroger brighten your day with big savings on top quality produce. Day after day, you'll discover a wide selection of meat at Kroger's everyday low prices. You'll find big savings on Kroger and national brands throughout the store. And every week, you can count on Kroger's Cost Cutter specials to save you even more. See the difference. Go Krogering.
Save on Holly Farms fresh grade A whole fryers, just 47 cents a pound. Limit 3.
It's for one day and one day only. Foley's incredible one-day sale. Save 20 to 50% on Famous Maker shirts and skirts, suits and slacks, jackets, sheets, sleepwear, cookware, dinnerware, sweaters, furniture, TV, stereos, and more. It's all you want for fall, and all 20 to 50% off. But that's not all. There's more. More savings on early bird specials. So come in early and save a lot. Foley's one-day sale. Foley's.
AT&T is in graphic detail.
Hi, Hiroshi. Are you sitting down? Oh, sure. What's up? Look at your fax machine. The next sight you see will be the Warren contract. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
We got it.
We got it.
When you use AT&T long-distance service, you can fax good news in graphic detail to Tokyo and all over the world.
Feels good to win, doesn't it?
I could get used to it.
AT&T, the right choice.
Mia Farrow, Friday night at 11.
The opening game will be hard to top, but the New York Mets and Houston Astros will try. Tonight, Game 2 of the National League Championship Series.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Kellogg's Corn Flakes. And by Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one.
Ted McCarver, let's talk for just a moment about this element, that intangible called emotion. For some reason, I don't feel the intensity tonight that we had last night.
Well, I don't either, but the game hasn't started yet. I think once the game starts, you're going to feel it. And the Mets being down one game in a 4-out-of-7 series, not nearly as important as it was 2 years ago when they were playing the best 3-out-of-5 series. Much fairer format now.
Lynn Dykstra, a comment on the tempo in the clubhouse, the mood of the team after being handled a little roughly last night by Mike Scott. He pointed toward tonight's game.
Well, I don't think it was too bad. You know, I remember talking to a former Pirate in spring training telling me what Chuck Tanner said after they lost a couple in a row the year they won it. And they usually turn the music on and dance around after they won every ball game or lost every ball game. In the playoffs, the radio wasn't off when they lost. And Tanner walked in and said, hey, turn that radio back on. We're not changing a thing here. And that's what I thought of when we walked in that clubhouse last night. You know, the mood's good in there. You know, that's one game. We got over the split. We go back to New York. We'll be fine.
Seems the attitude of the team as they were warming up tonight. Everything's going to be fine. But right now, the crowd coming to its feet for our national anthem sung by Barry Craig.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the New York Mets and the Houston Astros invite you to join with musician first class Barry Craig of the United States Navy Band in singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And so we are ready to play ball in the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Game number 2, the 1986 National League Championship Series.
Just when you think everything's under control, someone else thinks it isn't. If only you could rewrite as easily as the boss did. Change words. Correct your spelling. Make room for new ideas and numbers. And best of all, do it quickly. If only you had a personal computer and display-right software from IBM.
A double pleasure's waiting for you. A double pleasure for double Miss Gum. A double great feeling, making you realize double is the one for you. Double fresh, double smooth, double delicious to chew. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Double Miss Gum. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Double Miss Gum.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdale has been known as a special breed. Today, the Clydesdales symbolize Budweiser's dedication to quality, superior ingredients, exclusive beechwood aging, and a distinctively clean, crisp taste that only Budweiser can offer. Quality taste. Because this Bud's for you.
Well, that's baseball, and it's my game. You know, you take your worries to the park and you leave them there. You yell like crazy for your guys. Good for your lungs. The hot dog at the game beats roast beef at the Ritz. See your own national game beautifully played. Let's all go out to the ball game as often as we can get away next season. For my dough, that's living.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The #1 team in the nation, the Miami Hurricanes, take on West Virginia. Or 6th-ranked Oklahoma tackles Texas. Coverage begins with College Football Today, Saturday.
Now the batting order for the visiting team, the New York Mets. Lynn Dykstra, center field, leads off 0 for 3 last night. Wally Backman batting second at second base, 0 for 4 last night. Keith Hernandez, 1 for 4, playing first base, hitting third. Gary Carter batting cleanup, catching, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Darryl Strawberry batting in the number 5 spot, right fielder, 1 for 4 last night. Mookie Wilson, 0 for 4, left field, hitting 6th. Batting number 7, Ray Knight, the former Astro, 0 for 4 last night. And batting 8th, Rafael Santana, the shortstop. He was 1 for 3 with Bob Ojeda on the mound for the Mets. Defensively for these Houston Astros now, as we look around in the outer defense, you've got the same people who were there last night, Cruz, Hatcher, and Bass. Inside, you've got a couple of changes. It's on the left-hand side there. Phil Garner will go at third base tonight. He is a right-handed batter, and Dickie Thon will be at shortstop tonight. Right side the same, Bill Doran and Glenn Davis. Behind the plate, Alan Ashby. And on the mound, the Express. You need a wagon to haul his personal records around from his career in Major League Baseball, Nolan Ryan. And when he was a sophomore in high school, the scouts were hanging around saying, "Kid, you got a Major League fastball." Well, he was 6'2", 150 pounds then, tall and lanky and made out of Texas leather, and he grew up to be bigger and stronger and throw even harder. And he is literally a walking legend out there in the center of the infield. And here's a little guy from California named Lynn Dykstra, who's a gamer. You heard his comments just a moment ago about how his team felt after last night's game and how they feel about coming into tonight's second game. And here we go, with Bud Harrelson coaching at third and Bill Robinson at first. Lee Wire is back at the plate calling the balls and strikes tonight. And the first pitch is high, ball 1.
Nolan Ryan with a fastball around 95 miles an hour. A remarkable study in consistency.
Foul back, 1-1. 330 down the lines, 378 in the alleys, and 400 straight away here at the Astrodome in Houston. And of course, in case somehow you don't know, we do play indoors in this city, and it is oftentimes a blessing because of capricious weather in this part of the country. A 1-1 count on Dykstra. Up the bat handle, puts it on the ground. Ryan handles it well and throws him out. The two key people in this batting order are 1 and 2, Dykstra, and the man coming up, Wally Backman. As you see, Wire behind the plate, Frank Pulley at first, Dutch Renner at second, Joe West at third. Down the line and left, it is Fred Brocklander and Doug Harvey, who worked the balls and strikes last night, goes down the right field line. Wally Backman showed you last night he has a lot of power inside out as he sent Jose Cruz to the wall to make one of the defensive gems of the ball game. And a play that grows bigger and bigger as time goes on. Breaking pitch misses inside from Ryan.
There were several great defensive plays in last night's ball game, and Jose Cruz playing left field, probably the biggest one, but Glenn Davis, his save of the ground ball in the hole in the 8th inning, the other key play for Houston.
Fastball misses inside, and now Backman with the edge, and Backman can be tough. He's patient. And remember, he has power the other way, and Jose Cruz is playing him down almost toward the line and left. Hatcher in center is over in left center, and Ryan burns the fastball in for a strike. If Wally could get around on it and pull it down the right side, he could run for a couple of minutes.
One thing, even when you're ahead in the count as the hitter, the one thing that's tough to do is get around on a Nolan Ryan fastball.
That's hit hard to the third baseman, Phil Garner. And the man the guys call Scrap Iron, who came over here in a trade after a fine career at Pittsburgh, shaved off his mustache, and had to take an ad campaign to reacquaint himself with folks around town, but he is a battler at third.
They may call him Scrap Iron, but he does not have a piece of scrap iron on his left hand. A soft glove, good, quick hands, and what made that play so tough was that Garner was playing in for the bunt.
Keith Hernandez getting a little greeting from the crowd here in the Astrodome. He's been one of those who thinks that Mike Scott scuffs the ball for one, and he did have a little temper tantrum last night after looking at a strike he didn't like. Ryan starts with a breaking pitch for strike one.
I'll tell you, scuff may be the base word for scuffle, because that's what the Mets did last night. If Scott did scuff it, the Mets certainly scuffled.
One of the premier players in the major leagues right now, Keith Hernandez, and he's got a little handle pop out to the left side for Dickie Pond. And Nolan Ryan gets him easily in the top half of the first inning of game number 2. So 3 up and 3 down for the Mets. No score, and the Astros are coming up.
In the minors, you must have called it all 1,000 times. Then one day, you got the call. What's this, rookie umpire? Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Compliment for that gentleman.
Big five for you. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till you're gonna need somebody to lean on.
When you need a truck to lean on, nothing works like a Chevy truck.
The batting order for the Houston Astros as they come up. Billy Hatcher leads off, playing center field, 0 for 3 last night. Batting second, Bill Doran, second baseman, 0 for 4. Phil Garner is at third base, hitting in number 3 spot, 265 on the season. The big man for Houston is Glenn Davis. He had a home run last night to win it. Hits in the cleanup spot, obviously. Kevin Bass batting 5th, playing right field, 2 for 4 last night with a double. Jose Cruz in left field, 1 for 3 last night, hitting in number 6 spot. And Alan Ashby, the catcher, bats 7th, 1 for 2 last night. With a new shortstop in this game, Dickie Thon, coming off the season with a batting average of 248. And the pitcher, Nolan Ryan. Outer defense, in fact, the Mets lineup is the same with the exception of the pitcher, Wilson, Dexter, Strawberry. Around the infield, Hernandez at first, Backman second, Santana at short, Knight at third, and Carter back of the plate. Ojeda, who lives out in Visalia, California, all kinds of stories on mispronouncing his name. But I think he's grown to accept the regional mispronunciations of all names. Early on in his career, a lot of people thought perhaps he was Japanese. Well, obviously he's not. He's Spanish, and the literal pronunciation would be Ojeda. But for the general public, I think, and including the New York Mets faithful, it's been Ojeda all the years since he's been there. That's the last 2 years.
And you may mispronounce his name, but you can't mispronounce the numbers he's thrown up this year. 18 and 5. Acquired from the Boston Red Sox last year when he was 9 and 11.
Billy Hatcher stands in. This is a left-hander that can show you a half dozen different speeds, and he'll change off and change, but he does have a quality fastball, and he shows it right there on the outside corner for a called strike. That's fouled away. It's 1-1. And already the yo-yo.
He can throw one change after the other. Billy Hatcher, a good fastball hitter and a much better hitter against left-handers. Ojeda, a rapid fire worker, and he'll throw one change up after the other.
Well, that ball was curling inside, and Hatcher didn't get away from it in time, so he picks it off, and it's strike 2.
inside to right-handers is the pitch that makes the changeup away so effective. If you continue to throw that pitch, then right-handers have a tendency to lean out over the plate. That keeps them from leaning.
This one is down in the dirt, bouncing away. Lee Wire, like Doug Harvey, who worked behind the plate last night, is a tall man. That sometimes can impact the precise location of the strike zone. Foul, right side, out of play. Lee is one of the veterans. He's been at it since '61. In all kinds of weather.
Except in this ballpark, it's the same weather every day.
What did Johnny Mitch say? The molecules don't move around much.
Yeah, right.
Ojeda to Hatcher. Changeup. Struck him out looking, and Billy takes a walk to the dugout. He knew he'd been had and just walked away.
Actually, the third best pitch in the Ojeda arsenal is when he takes something off his breaking ball. Now you see the breaking ball, and Billy Hatcher goes back to the bench. He knew it was a strike.
You could have read Chubb Feeney's signature on that one, but it's still in the strike zone, and you're teetering off balance, and there isn't a confounded thing you can do about it. Bill Doran, 0 for 4 last night, made a great defensive play to contribute to the cause for the Astros. And Ojeda starts him with a fastball, too, but it's down and away. Ball 1. Phil Garner to the on-deck circle. Ball 2. Bill Doran beginning to grow out of his momentary temper tantrums he's shown. He hardly ever says anything to an umpire, but he'll go in the clubhouse and dugout and wreak havoc. Leave a lot of splinters. There's a change on the outside corner, 2-1.
And that gives you an idea of how much confidence Ojeda has in the changeup. He'll throw at any count.
I'll tell you something else he'll do, too. He's a tough guy. He'll put you on the seat of your britches if he thinks you're intruding in his territory. That ball is hit down the right side, curving and off the wall. Strawberry came all the way to the wall on it, but it hit the corner and caromed away for a foul ball.
Darrell going all the way to the wall, and watch it hit the corner of the wall and bounce away.
It's hard to read, though, when you're going at speed and you know there's a sharp, hard corner waiting for you. Difficult. 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. So an impressive start for Bob Ojeda. Strikes out the first man. Hatcher looking, gets Doran swinging. 2 down for Phil Garner. Crowd here in Houston, quiet. They don't come up roaring until something happens. More like I would equate it to a California baseball crowd. Wait till you get to New York. It'll be noisy when they come to the ballpark. That pitch is low to Garner.
Be interesting to see how Ojeda faces Phil Garner and what he does with him. Garner, the only Astro to homer off Ojeda this year.
Sound like a broken bat ground ball to Santana, who one-hands it and loops it across in the dirt. But Hernandez wanted the best at that first corner. Pulls it out of the dirt for out number 3. So both teams go quietly in their first at bat. After 1, there is no score.
Today, for your tough headache pain, there's a superior level of pain-relieving strength. Nuprin strength. Beyond regular strength aspirin, beyond extra strength Tylenol, now there's Nuprin strength. This new medical study proves too little Nuprin give more pain relief than extra strength Tylenol. So Nuprin stops headaches better. And remember, Nuprin is gentler to your stomach than aspirin. For strength beyond extra strength Tylenol, Nuprin strength.
You're about to discover one reason no other long-distance company can give you what AT&T can. You'll see something that lets us offer you a distinct advantage. What is it that helps keep us at the cutting edge? Betsy Thompson.
I'd be glad to assist you, Mr. Green.
And thousands like her who handle AT&T cards, billing questions, 800 numbers, any service you need.
I'm glad I could help.
For over 100 years, when you reached out, we were there. and you can keep it that way. AT&T, the right choice.
You'll see. Only nerds eat Kellogg's cornflakes. Tony does eat some. He does? Elton John, Kenny Loggins, Rob Lowe eat cornflakes.
It may surprise you who eats cornflakes, but not why. Great taste and solid nutrition. Make them a real breakfast hit.
Oh, wow, David Loomis eats them too. Who's he? That hunk in my biology class.
How about the Kellogg's cornflakes now?
Nolan Ryan, a blazing fastball fame, has a new offering, a new tool this year, one that runs down and away. Alan Ashby comments.
In the past, Nolan Ryan hasn't been too proud to say that when anybody said to him, that was a good sinker, that really was the one thing that would always make Nolan mad. He wanted to throw that hard riding fastball, but this year he's worked throwing with the seams on the ball a little bit to try to get ground balls from the left-handers and occasionally a strikeout on it also. So it's become a pitch he has become quite a bit better with this year.
Comment of the Astros catcher, Alan Ashby. Now, Gary Carter steps in to face Nolan Ryan, to be followed by Darryl Strawberry and Mookie Wilson. Gary, a frustrating night last night against Mike Scott, struck out 3 times and went 0 for 4. And Ryan's first pitch is down and away for ball 1. You see that Carter on the season was a big gun for New York. Swings and misses at the high Hardman. Boy, that thing comes on you in a hurry. You just can't believe it. If you were just to walk out there and stand for a couple of minutes and let Ryan throw the ball, your appreciation of people getting base hits off of him would soar.
If he were a young man, you could understand it. He's 39 years old. He signed professionally back in 1965. And think about this. In his major league career, he has thrown over 50,000 pitches.
And, of course, dominates way out in front in career strikeout. 1-2 pitch to Carter. Foul back. Gary grew up in Fullerton, California, started his career with Montreal, the Expos, and then came over to the Mets.
The 4-player trade that sent Hubie Brooks to the Montreal Expos, Mike Fitzgerald, a good trade for both clubs. Also, Herm Winningham and Floyd Yeomans, who struck out 202 this year. And Lee Wire almost did not allow Gary Carter to call timeout. Gary almost called it too late.
Now the 1-2. First strikeout of the ball game for Ryan.
That is the 4th time in 5 at-bats that Carter has gone down on strikes. And Carter looking back, you do not see Gary Carter take defensive swings like he has taken through the first 5 at-bats in this playoff series.
Darryl Strawberry, Mets right fielder. Ryan took a little off that one, and it's low. Seasonal stats there for Strawberry out of Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles. There's the heater, and it's 1-1. Matchup between the two. I would say Nolan's got him waving and swinging and thinking, huh? Thinking may be the hardest part of it all because you don't have time. It has to be almost instinctive. The man who throws the ball this hard. Same as it is with Dwight Gooden and Mike Scott and all of the power pitchers.
Yeah, you cannot sit on the breaking ball as you see Davy Johnson sitting on the top step along with Mel Stottlemyre. You can't sit on the breaking ball, not get it, and expect to hit the fastball.
Strikes out the first 2 swinging in the 2nd inning. Mookie Wilson now scheduled. But look what happens to you. You're so primed, you commit, and you take a cut at a pitch that's in the dirt.
Well, I think over 50% of all swinging strikeouts are on balls. And I think that's going to become epidemic in the coming years with the split-finger fastball.
You're right. Mookie was 0 for 4 last night. Ryan nails into the strike to start it. Crowd beginning to come around a little bit now. Strike 2. I'll tell you this. If Ryan is able to pitch at this pace and be this economical about it, he'll go 9 easy. There's no limit of 100 pitches on him in tonight's game. That ball is going to drop for a base hit. No, it didn't. Oh, what a fine play by Billy Hatcher. It looked like it was sinking, and at the foot speed of Hatcher produces the play. So let's have a look at it as we are played an inning and a half, and there is no score, and watch this catch by Hatcher.
That's the advantage of playing the count with 2 strikes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hello, honey. I'm home.
No, miss. No, don't go in. Don't go in there. There's a burglar in.
Who is that? Anyone could mistake Sharp's giant picture tube TV for real life. The clarity of Sharp's smaller TVs is now on a 35-inch screen with real stereo sound. Sharp, bigger than life, often more exciting. From Sharp minds come Sharp products.
Can you believe the way some fast food places make chicken? It starts out frozen and can end up like rubber. At Kentucky Fried Chicken, the original recipe and extra crispy chicken start out fresh, and they're cooked fresh all day long, so every piece is tender and delicious. Finger-licking good.
At Kentucky Fried Chicken, all we do is chicken, so we do it right. Anyone else's chicken may leave you cold.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
This should be a great game.
Yeah, I love the baseball playoffs.
Yeah, the guys are cute.
Carol, there's much more to baseball than just guys in tight uniforms.
Oh, no, there isn't.
Yes, it's a thinking man's game. Concentration, percentages, strategy.
Right. It's like the great Yogi Berra once said, 50% of the game is 90% mental. Come on, I didn't say it. You did.
Growing Pains will be back in action Tuesday after Who's the Boss?
Mike Scott in the dugout with his teammates watching tonight said he felt pretty good after last night's 125-pitch 5-hitter. First batter up for the Astros, Glenn Davis, the power man. First pitch, he bounces it back to Ojeda, who throws him out, and 4 in a row for the Astros.
Here's that catch by Billy Hatcher one more time to close out the top of the second. And when I talked about playing the count, good center fielders with 2 strikes on the hitter will shade the hitter the other way, maybe 2 steps, because the hitter becomes a defensive hitter then, and that's what Hatcher did, and that's why he was able to make the catch.
Kevin Bass jumps on the first pitch, so the Astros not showing much patience right now in the second time around against Ojeda.
You've really got to make Ojeda jam you if you're a right-handed hitter, because his bread and butter is on the outside corner, and he can thread it all day long. That changeup does have a little bit of a screwball motion to it.
Fastball is high. The power side for Kevin Bass is the right side. He had most of his power production from the right side in the course of the season. Switch hitter. One thing, he had 324 from that side, but he had 13 home runs from the right side. That's on the inside corner, and that may have been the pitch that Kevin would have wanted to jump on. One of the reasons for Ojeda's 1986 success, according to him, is the confidence that he has developed in his fastball. His coach, Mel Stottlemyre, changes his grip just a little bit. And that ball is well hit, but I think it's going to hit foul. And it did. Not by a whole lot, though.
I'll tell you what, before this series is over, Kevin Bass is going to do the Sammy Davis Jr. imitation for all of us. I'll tell you that. I was talking to him before the game. I said, will you go on camera and do the Sammy Davis Jr. imitation? He said, I like your shoes. If you give me your shoe, I said, I'll give you my shoes if you do the Sammy Davis imitation. So my shoes for that.
That's fouled away to the right side. Well, he almost volunteered. He does a routine on me, too.
Yeah, he does.
He started to do it last night, and then I think he backed off.
He's a very funny man.
1-2 count on Kevin Bass, the Astros right fielder. He punches that one to the right side out of play. He was signed by Milwaukee in 1977, just after he turned 18. 5 years bumping around in the minors. And he had a hard time going into place with Milwaukee because of guys like Ogilvy, Gorman Thomas, Charlie Moore. They were all up with the big club having good years, and it just wasn't in place for Kevin to play. And his big break came in the trade that brought him to Houston. Change up is drilled up the alley. It's going through, goes to the wall. Bass on his way to second. And he stands with a double. His second double of the series. And that sound is for Jose Cruz, who's coming up. But have another look as Bass jumps on the chain.
See, he did get fooled on the pitch. The front part of the body went forward, but the hand stayed back. And that's necessary. Even if you're fooled on the pitch, if the hand stayed back, you still maintain your power. And that's what Bass did then.
Cruz 1 for 3 last night and goes right up the middle. Bangs it off Ojeda. Santana comes up with it. They make a play at third as Bass had gone past the bag, but he reaches back in time. It's a base hit for Cruz. And they quickly, Keith Hernandez quickly goes to the mound to check on the condition of his pitcher, which seems to be all right.
Yeah, it appears to be all right. He did get the glove on it. It hit the back of the thumb. Santana, who had broken toward the middle, his only play at third base, he alertly goes to third, but just as alertly, Bass diving back.
And Alan Ashby now with an opportunity to drive in the first run of the ball game. Bass at third, Cruz at first. Ashby 1 for 2 last night. Oh, look at that thing drift in and bite that corner for a strike. Tantalizing.
Ashby also a much better hitter now as a right-handed batter. He has really developed that right side. But the Mets looking, on the other hand, for the double play right now. And Ashby does not run very fast, so he is a good double play man.
Hit 278 from the right side. Little check swing, tap back to the mound. They'll make the play on Bass, who broke for the plate. Ojeda coming down, tags him, and rolls around on the ground, but he's all right. So Ojeda is in the heat of the battle here, isn't he?
He made the play himself, and that may have been the only play he had. However, Kevin Bass, you're trained as, if you're on third with a runner at first, you're trained to come home on a ball on the ground. However, you must use your own judgment on a high chopper like this. So Bass runs into an out. Now, I'm not saying that Ashby wouldn't have been out at first base had Bass not tried to score, but instead of first and second, the Astros would have had second and third.
Cruz at second now. Ashby at first on the fielder's choice, and Dickie Thon is the hitter. So the old expression that sometimes comes to haunt you, running yourself into an out. That's what Kevin Bass did right there. If he had gone into a headfirst slide earlier, he perhaps could have gone underneath Ojeda. But who knows? That ball is fouled right side.
I guess the only thing would have been, was he close enough to home plate?
Yep.
To go into that slide initially.
I have seen a couple of times fellas go into a slide and stop short.
You're looking at one of them that's done that several times. No more, however.
2 strikes on Thon. Number 8 man in the order. No score. Bottom of the second inning. That ball is hooked. Foul. Again, close. Astros squandered some big opportunities in last night's ball game. Still won it 1-0. 2 down and 2 on in the bottom of the second inning. Strike call. Thon's gone. Side retired. Astros strand through. And after 2 complete innings of play in game number 2 of the National League Championship Series, there is no score as Bob Ojeda gets his 3rd strikeout of the ball game.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Hold the chili.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light. No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
This is where it begins. Anywhere there's moisture, there's the chance of catching athlete's foot. This is where it ends. Mycotin. Only Mycotin cures athlete's foot with myconazole, a medically proven ingredient that eliminates athlete's foot. This is where athlete's foot begins. This is where it ends. Mycotin, the end of athlete's foot.
It's Sears' biggest hardware sale of the year, with savings on hundreds of items. Save $20 on a Craftsman 8-inch table saw, 10-inch bandsaw, or belt disc sander. Your choice, $99.99. This Craftsman tool chest and roll-away combo, or wet and dry vac with accessory tote, also $99.99 each. Better hurry. Sears National Hardware Sale ends October 11th.
There's more for your life
in our new century.
at Sears.
It'll be the bottom third of the order now for the New York Mets as we move rather quickly into the game. Top of the 3rd inning. Ray Knight, Rafael Santana, and Bob Ojeda. Nolan Ryan against the Mets in the 1986 season was 0-3. And his earned run average was high, 5.16.
But the Mets, of course, didn't face him in the second half of the season when he was 9-2. That's the big difference. He is throwing the ball extremely well right now.
Ray Knight, who was hitless in the opening game last night, is at the plate. And a breaking pitch is just inside for ball 1. Hot one fouled amongst the cameramen on the right side. Ray Knight, another one of those who was constantly badgered about the fact that the Mets had not engaged him in conversation about renewing his contract. He just hung on and hung in and played well and been a prime figure in their success. That was close. 2-1.
As a matter of fact, Ray feels that his performance in the National League Championship Series and possibly the World Series, if it's a good performance, then the Mets will be more inclined to sign him for next year.
Now back 2-2.
Good reasoning.
course, the matter of Nolan Ryan's future, he's got a decision to make, perhaps, in the near future, because the medical folks have talked to him about the possibility of a Tommy John-like operation, that is, putting some new material in that elbow to hold it in a firmer position with that stretched ligament. But other doctors, some have said, let's do it. Some have said, just take some rest. And Nolan says, I'll think about it. Swing and a miss. So Ryan now, 3 strikeouts in the ball game.
Obviously, the doctors who have suggested the operation have never had a bat in their hands to face Nolan Ryan. That is really strange that they would suggest he have that operation throwing the way he's throwing the ball.
Well, and it also amplifies the argument of just giving it some rest. Santana, the Mets shortstop, is up there, and the breaking pitch is up around the bill of the cap. That's a good cut, but there's nothing there for him, and it's 1-1. And as advertised, so far, the pitchers have been dominant. The foul back out of play. If this thing continues at its current pace, about 4 innings from now, there'll be a little tension.
Well, last night's ball game, as you said so aptly, Keith, the tension just kept building and building and building.
Going back to the breaking pitch, and it's outside and high.
Again, playing the count. You see right fielder Kevin Bass very shallow and toward the right field line for Santana, because Santana's in a defensive posture as a hitter. He's not going to pull the ball unless it's a mistake.
At 2-2, he's up the bat handle just a bit. Swings and misses. Striking out. 4 for Ryan. And where would you say that one was, Tim?
Outside half. Looked like the ball really sailed. He's got some giddy up on it, I'll tell you that.
Ojeda takes a cut. Strike one. Dykstra to the on-deck circle. Ryan deals him low and inside. One thing, the big fella Ojeda takes his hacks, doesn't he? Game number 2 in the National League Championship Series. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. There is no score in the ball game, and the 2 pitchers opposing each other right now. 2 out, and a 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Ryan has struck out the side. He has 5 in the ball game. And so he blows the Mets down in order. And after 2.5 innings of play under the dome, there is no score.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh yeah.
It's the rhythm on the road. It's the pulse on the street. Pulse on the street. City and town, a magic sound. The heartbeat of America.
You stepped up to a 35mm camera because you wanted to get serious about your photography. There, the image is on the film, but will it be on the print? It will if it's Eckerd's UltraLab 35 processing. UltraLab 35 examines each negative for color and contrast. Prints on high-gloss Kodak paper for incredible reproduction, and UltraLab prints are 30% larger. Be sure that the image you shoot is the image you get. UltraLab 35 from Eckerd, when you're serious about 35mm.
On the Disney Sunday movie, he was a has-been who found hope.
All you have to do is believe.
Roy Scheider, Justin Henry, dreams can come true in Tiger Town.
CFA College football coming up on ABC Saturday right after our third game in the National League Championship Series, Oklahoma and Texas. And the folks down in Texas, I tell you, the Longhorns are upset that Oklahoma's been put up as a 23-point favorite. I mean, they're downright feisty about it. And, of course, the rumor's been going around and around and around that Brett Akers' job might be in jeopardy, despite the fact that he has had nothing but a winning season since he took over there as a head coach. Nolan Ryan leads it off now for the Houston Astros. Standing at the plate with a ball one count on him, and beats it sharply to Ray Knight at third, and he's thrown out. This is where we're working, how we see the ball game here, and it's very comfortable.
Certainly easier from up here.
Yes, it is.
I've found that out over the last 6 years.
Second time around now as Billy Hatcher comes up the top of the order with Bill Doran moving to the on-deck circle against Bob Ojeda. Hatcher leans and holds, and it's ball one.
I think in complete contrast, you'll find that Lee Wire tonight, the antithesis of Doug Harvey, he has a wider strike zone.
Ball two. Foul on the right side, out of play. Lanier in the Houston dugout. You count 3 balls and 1 strike on Billy Hatcher. Shot up the middle, base hit. Astros now have 3 off Ojeda. And you've got speed on first base. And a tough guy at the plate in Doran.
It's not going to be as tough for Carter to throw out Hatcher tonight as it was last night. Doran's batting from the right side, and also Bobby Ojeda, left-handed pitcher, so I wouldn't look for Hatcher to get the type of jump that he got last night to steal second.
Well, he's got that front foot hooked on the rug. And Ojeda's going to make him come back.
Ojeda does not have a good move. However, the very fact that the left-hander is looking at the base runner is enough to discourage most base runners. Luke Rock, who stole over 900 bases, used to say that it was easier to steal off a left-hander than a right-hander.
Yeah, but he was truly gifted. Ball one to Bill Doran, who turns around and has a good look at Dennis Mankey in the third base coaching box. Outside corner. 1-1. He does have a wide strike zone. Big man, though. Hard to get out there, I think. I think it makes a difference, physical size of an umpire. I really do. Ball ball is punch foul and will drop in the crowd on the right side, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes now.
I'll tell you, it makes a difference as far as a catcher being a tall catcher. Trying to get down a guy like Tom Haller, who is now the general manager of the Chicago White Sox and had a marvelous career. I often marveled at Tom how he gave a low target being 6'4". The position's made for a catcher no taller than about 6 feet.
1-2 to Doran. Punches the ball in the air, back behind second base. Going hard is Beckman, and it's a good play. And Hatcher had made the turn all the way around second base, and he has an easy double play. So apparently Billy was absolutely convinced the ball was going to drop, and he was all the way around second and halfway to third, and then said, whoops, I'm embarrassed. And the inning is over. No score in the ball game.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Night training. It never stops for Mr. Goodwrench. Cars change. He changes. He picks from over 100 General Motors service schools to stay on the leading edge of service technology. He keeps up with fuel injection, turbocharger changes, new electronics, transaxle advances, you name it. He's trained to be good. He's trained to stay good. Mr. Goodwrench, no one knows your GM car better. No one.
Telecommunications simply means making a connection. Me to you, A to B. When that meant creating a communications network 22,000 miles above the Earth, they called Contel. When it meant a 16-phone system at the Omaha headquarters of Vic's Corn Popper, they called Contel. Small business, a tall order. Contel can help you communicate better, too. For Contel, I'm Charlton Heston.
Being an all-round cowboy isn't always a case of throwing a perfect loop. Sometimes it's a sack of potatoes. And when you're ready for a second opinion, head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream for a taste as smooth as its name.
Well, that was really good. Want some more? Sure.
Head for Bush beer.
Head for the mountains.
I want to spend a moment with one of my favorite people, Peter Ruberoff, who is the commissioner of baseball, and I want to congratulate. I know that one of the things that you had in mind and wanted was to have every team in baseball draw $1 million, and by golly, you've done it.
Well, the fans did it, and you know, we've emphasized family sports, a place you could bring your kids, keep the prices under $10, clean up the stadiums, and it's working for baseball. And also, it's, you know, this is a national pastime, and you know what you saw last night and you're seeing tonight, it's a very special thing.
What we saw last night was a pitch that may be the most dramatic pitch to come into the game since the slider. I'll tell you, that split-fingered thing that they're throwing around is a sight, isn't it?
I'll tell you, it was exciting. It really was. And it was great for the fans, and it's going to be a great game.
Backstra with a bounce over to first base, and Davis does it himself. And you've got one gone here in the top of the 4th inning. I've never seen, I don't think, Peter, 2 pitching staffs on separate teams with the depth and quality we're looking at here in this series.
Yeah, I don't see a weakness on either side. And, you know, you're debating. They got pitchers that don't even know who they're going to use, who are pitchers that would be absolute starters of the first game for a lot of teams. And a lot of youngsters.
Well, you got to be pleased going into this one, the way things are going right now. I agree with you. I think the game is, this new generation is taking it to heart.
They turned around a lot of towns in America that some people didn't believe in. This town, some people didn't have such nice things to say, but look at this crowd. And you know, towns like Pittsburgh, people were counting out. Cleveland doubled its attendance. Baseball's on its way back. It's a family sport, and it's going to be fun in 1987, too.
Well, the civic leadership, I think, shows a fresh new commitment. I was at a dinner in Pittsburgh, and the mayor there was more concerned about what was going on over at Three Rivers than he was what was being said from the dais.
He's a good mayor, Mayor Caligari, and that's what I like to hear. And that's part of the reason he helped keep the team there, put a new group together, and they're a young team. last place this year. They'll be good in the years to come.
Between these two teams, Tim and I have both been talking about the sense that there is a new rivalry building here. I think when you go into 1987 and the Astros and the Mets get together, there's going to be a whole fresh bite to that rivalry.
These folks aren't going to forget each other. They know each other, and the fans on both ends have. There we go.
Up the middle, bouncing into center field. Base hit for Wally Buckman. And so now the Mets have finally broken through against Nolan Ryan, who remains a marvel at 39 years of age, doesn't he?
He's a nice man. Listen, I'll let you go. And to both of you, it's exciting to. Last night I couldn't be in either park, and it was great to listen to you and watch you. It made the game enjoyable. So thanks to both of you.
Nice to see you.
Take care.
Best of luck. Ryan had retired 10 in a row until Wally Buckman broke through against him. And Wally now is on first base. And always fun to visit with Peter. I've known him a long time, and he's a fine man. He's doing a heck of a job as a baseball commissioner. Ryan comes to Keith Hernandez. Hernandez popped up to the shortstop his first time, and Ryan burns that fastball in for a called strike. One down, Dykstra bouncing out to the first baseman. And then Backman bouncing one up the middle. Ryan's moved to first. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Backman bounces off Hernandez. Downtown swing, and it's strike two.
Well, Nolan Ryan does have a fair move to first base, but like all power pitchers, he kicks that leg high with a man on first.
That's what he just missed. National League record for retiring people to start a game. And he had 10.
Ida Blue with 11 holds the league championship record.
Two-strike count on Keith Hernandez. Little looper, and it drops in center field for a base hit. Backman turns at second and holds on, and now the Mets have something working. The Astros had a little flurry going back in the second, ran themselves out of a scoring opportunity, and now the Mets with one out. Runners at first and second.
Sometimes pitchers do exactly what they want to, and a hitter still gets a hit. Nolan Ryan had that pitch exactly where he wanted to. You saw Wally Backman could not tell whether Thon would make that play, so he did hold up a second, thereby stopping at second base.
And Gary Carter is at the plate.
Not all balls hit hard are bad pitches, and not all balls that are hit softly are good pitches.
Runners bounce off, and a breaking pitch is lowered away to Carter. I tell you, the way this thing is going, Tim, 2 runs would look like a pretty good-sized mountain, wouldn't it?
1 run has been scored so far in 12 1/3 innings.
High fly ball lifted out into the right center field, and it is off the wall for extra bases. Bass plays the ricochet. Backman heading for the plate. Throw is loose in the infield, and the New York Mets have taken the lead. It is a double for Carter.
Well, there's just no way for Backman, who would score certainly, but for Hernandez, and obviously, if he were running all the way on this ball, he would have scored easily, but no way for him to tell whether that ball's going to bounce against the fence. The carom played beautifully by Kevin Bass to hold Hernandez at third base and hold the Mets to only 1 run.
You still have 1 out. Base runners at second and third now. Hernandez at third and Carter at second. Mets are leading 1-0, and here is Darryl Strawberry, who struck out swinging his first time up.
I don't think he'll get a strike here, and Darryl is a bad ball hitter. He has to be very patient.
That's ball is hit to left for Jose Cruz, who has to go back to get it. That gets Hernandez home. And the Mets will lead it 2-0. 2 down now.
And Keith, again, Nolan Ryan did what he wanted to do. He threw the ball out of the strike zone, but Strawberry just tomahawked that high fastball to drive in Hernandez.
And the batter is Mookie Wilson. Both teams with 3 hits in the ball game, but the Mets now have 2 big runs, and Wilson swings and misses on a pitch that blazed in off the hands inside. Ray Knight swinging a bat in the on-deck circle with 2 down and 1 on. Carter at second. Hernandez having scored. That ball is hit out into the left side, and Cruz a fine running catch to retire the side. So Jose Cruz had him played perfectly. If he'd been back another 3 steps, he might have had trouble making the catch, but he got him. But the New York Mets break through at the top of the 4th inning and take the lead, 2-0.
Why just eat at home tonight when cooking with Cheese Glorious Cheese can take you anywhere? Try a taste of Texas with a Colby tamale pie. Warm up to a bowl of Yankee seafood and Gouda chowder. Or bake up a Chicago deep dish pizza with lots of mozzarella. Visit your Dairy Case today for your free regional cheese recipes and enter the Cook Regional with Cheese Sweepstakes. You can win some real tasty prizes.
Y'all ever been to Georgia?
If you want to risk driving on your old antifreeze another year, you ought to know what you might be getting yourself into. Driving just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while a Prestone radiator looks this good. So for maximum protection, don't push your luck. Change it once a year, every year, with fresh Prestone. And don't you be left out in the cold.
Introducing Wendy's new Big Classic hamburger.
This is the good stuff.
Can't get it in a Whopper.
This is the good stuff.
Can't get it in a McDLT.
This is the good stuff.
Wendy's new Big Classic.
Fresh meat, fresh taste, big size. This is the one made right before you ride. This is the good stuff.
Wendy's new Big Classic.
Can't get enough. This is the good stuff.
Wednesday, Larry's under the weather.
The Wolfbane is for your runny nose. The pumpkin mold is for your cough. And the garlic just makes you feel good all over.
And Balky's got the cure.
I have been asleep for 3 days.
Perfect Strangers, followed by Head of the Class.
Wednesday.
The National League teams will be battling tomorrow. The American League Championship Series resumes for Game 3. The Boston Red Sox and Angels at Anaheim Stadium in California. Oil Can Boyd going for the Red Sox against John Candelaria, another pitcher who's coming off elbow surgery. But his last few outings, he's been impressive. Oil Can had a bit of trouble early on in the year, but he too has thrown very well since coming back. So the Angels, the Red Sox get busy again tomorrow from the West. Now Michaels and Jim Palmer. I'm slightly envious of Al, at least. He got to go home, sleep in his own bed, and eat at his own table. Bill Garner, Glenn Davis, and Kevin Bass are scheduled at the plate against Bob Ojeda. Kirk Douglas among those watching the ball game tonight. And right in front of him is the new president of the National League, a man from Yale. No official capacity as yet. Seth Feeney steps aside at first of the year. Art Giamatti, you sit down and talk baseball with him, and you sort of wander through the annals of man's history, because he finds something that's applicable from all walks of life to the game of baseball.
Die-hard Boston Red Sox fan, and here he is, the president of the National League.
No, that's kind of funny, isn't it? Bill Garner with a 3-1 count. And it's outside and fills the board. So the Houston Astros get the leadoff man on here, trying to retaliate in the bottom of the fourth as the Mets scored twice in the top of this inning. That is the first walk of the ball game for Ojeda. And here's the big man, Glenn Davis, who had the big hit last night, a towering shot, 400 feet, at 31 big ones during the course of the year, and he will take it out of anybody's ballpark if he gets it solid. You make a mistake with that breaking pitch and you don't see it anymore. That pitch is low inside ball.
I'll tell you, Keith, Tuesday when both teams worked out here at the Astrodome, I was by the cage and I was watching Glenn Davis hit. Now, I've been watching batting practice for 27 years in the big leagues and in professional baseball, and I have never seen the bat jump off the ball or the ball jump off the bat any quicker than it did off Glenn Davis's bat.
A little late with that one as Ojeda came with a fastball on the outside. He's an outstanding low ball hitter as well, but he told me yesterday that he thought he would go at least against Gooden. Now, I did talk to him tonight about it, but against Ojeda he might have gone back to his normal bat, but against Gooden he went down. He went to 32 ounces. 1-1 pitch. Low in the dirt. Gary Carter blocks it, and Bill Garner stays at first base.
This is really not that tough a play for a catcher, because on the off-speed pitch, you are looking for that ball, anticipating it in the dirt. So even though it was a short hop, not as difficult to play as it would appear.
Puts that weight on that back leg. That's a trigger, folks. Inside, almost hit him with that breaking pitch. Well, that's Ojeda for you. If he feels like you're getting, he feels he owns part of that real estate up there in that strike zone, and you get poking around in the neighborhood, and he'll run you out of there. Throw to first, holding Garner. Mookie Wilson is in the next county. He's as far back as almost he could afford to go in left field. That's a bouncer. Ray Knight at third. And he got the good bounce coming off the dirt at third base and made the play. Garner is at second.
Glenn Davis is a better than average runner. Look at the lead and the jump that Garner gets off first base. That forced Knight, who backs up a step to make the longer throw to first and not get the lead runner. Heads up base running by Phil Garner, who had an excellent jump off of first.
And now it's Kevin Bass. Bass had a double, but then trying to run on contact and score from third. Ashby's bouncer to the pitcher, Ojeda, made the tag on him himself, and he ran into an out instead of scoring the run when Houston had its opportunity back in the second inning. Two balls and no strikes to Bass. Jose Cruz waiting to come up. One out. Changing speeds, and it's in there for a strike to make it 2-1. There's Tammy Ojeda. Twice.
It looks like she's competing.
She's excited. Well, why not?
Certainly understandable.
You bet. That's a foul ball down the line and left.
Well, that's two changeups with a 2-0 and 2-1 count. And now I would think Bass would be set up for the fastball inside. If you remember, the double that he hit came on the ball away from him. So we'll see how Ojeda and Carter work Kevin Bass in this situation. It's not the pitch, it's how you got there. That's very, very important.
Sounds like he broke his bat. A roller at third. Knight on the move. Throws too late. Beat it out. Knight was playing him deep, well back of the bag at third, and you've got to respect him because the right side is his power side, and he just sort of wristed the ball down toward third.
You remember last night when Bill Doran looked at second and then threw to first to try to get Dykstra? That's what Ray Knight does here. He looks Garner back, and then by the time he recovers, the throw's too late. I think had he made the throw without looking to second, possibly he may have gotten fast.
Jose Cruz singled his first time. Off the pitcher. Ojeda brings the fastball in for a strike. Runners at first and second. Garner at second, Bass at first. Astros have 4 hits, but no runs. Mets have 3 hits. They have 2 runs. Big swing and a miss on a slow curveball. They almost bit at it. Check just in time, and it's 1-2. I'll tell you one thing. You look at him for 4, 5, 6 innings, and he will really have you fishing, won't he?
Yeah, he doesn't throw a lot of balls down the middle of the plate. He is not a fat part of the plate pitcher. In and out.
Struck him out. That's 2 down for Alan Ashby, and I would imagine Alan will be hacking a little harder this time. He had a hesitant swing, a very tentative swing the last time that resulted in Houston losing its scoring opportunity.
After 2 curveballs, the fastball on the outside part gets Jose Cruz.
That's 4 strikeouts now for Bob Ojeda. Teases in just off the outside, but Ashby waits him out for ball 1.
Patience, patience, patience. But Lord, it's hard to practice.
Sharply struck. Good play. Knight, third base. Steps on the bag. Gets the force. Garner coming down, and the Astros are turned away, stranding 2. That's a total of 4. They have left on base so far in the ball game. And so after 4 complete innings of play in Game 2 of the National League Championship Series, it is now 2-0. The New York Mets lead.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Pitcher of light.
Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
First, someone gets an idea. Then someone else may look at it differently. Even add a thought or two. Technology from a company called TRW helps ideas get around. Because getting an idea from one place to another is as important as getting an idea. Tomorrow is taking shape at a company called TRW.
Touchstone Pictures presents Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, in a Martin Scorsese picture, The Color of Money.
We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Rated R. Starts October 17th at a theater near you. Check newspaper.
Guess what thousands of doctors are recommending for women who need extra calcium? Tums. Surprise? It's true. Tums isn't just a great antacid. It's also rich in calcium.
The New York Mets, like the Houston Astros, came into being in 1962. Well, in 1964, the New York Mets, leadership of William Shea, got the new stadium in Flushing, New York. It was quite a sight, still is for that matter. And then, lo and behold, Ken Johnson pitches a no-hitter and loses. And the echoes of Casey's famous comment of 1962, don't nobody know how to play this game. Strike one. Nolan Ryan starting against Ray Knight, Rafael Santana, and then Bob Ojeda. Inside, 1-1.
Ken Johnson, the only losing no-hitter, but the Astros have 8 no-hitters since 1962. That's more than any other club in the major leagues.
Strike two on Ray Knight. It's called by Lee Wire, the plate umpire. Well, no, California is second with no-hitters, but 4 of theirs were pitched for the man out in the mound, Nolan Ryan.
And one with the Astros. As a matter of fact, Alan Ashby caught that game.
Yeah, he's caught, what, 3 no-hitters?
Uh-huh.
1-2 pitch tonight. Foul away. Ryan has given only 3 hits, but the Mets have made him count.
Noli from Alvin, Texas, was voted most handsome his sophomore and senior years. I don't know what happened to his junior year. He had the same classmates. Have to check that out with Nolan.
I think that's when his lady started dating and it made somebody mad or something.
Matter of fact, he married Ruth, his high school sweetheart.
Jugs gun checking him. 1-2 pitch. It's low. This gun, they tell me, is very slow. 82 miles an hour. I don't think Nolan Ryan can throw the ball 82 miles.
Even on his breaking ball.
No.
Look at that beach ball. I'll tell you, there is a beach ball in the stands. And that belongs on a big beach. The biggest beach. That's a Texas beach ball right there.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Ray Knight. High pop-up. Second baseman Bill Doran drifts back, and in short right field makes the catch. Well, maybe they did something to the Jugs gun. I don't know, but that one showed 95 miles an hour. Knight popped it up. Now Rafael Santana coming up. He was the 4th strikeout victim of Ryan in tonight's ball game. These 2 teams travel tomorrow 3 games in New York, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And a breaking pitch is low inside. And if need be, they'll take off Tuesday, travel, and play here Wednesday and Thursday if necessary. And a foul ball back out of play. That big old ball flying around over there. It's getting to be a little distracting, and we're now getting some attendants headed down there with a pin. They're going to do it in. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Got to be a big pin.
There it goes. At 2-1, foul back. 2-2. 1 out, Santana up, Ojeda waiting, and then it'll be the top of the order. And it was Bachman and Hernandez and Carter that did the damage last time around to Nolan Ryan. Fouled away.
Only in the state of Texas can you have a big barn like this, the first of the dome stadiums. Built back in 1965. Kind of looks like William Perry's walk-in closet, doesn't it?
Loop to right, base hit. Kevin Bass plays it on a hop and quickly back. And Santana is aboard with the 4th hit of the game off Nolan Ryan. Ojeda now will come to the plate. Well, they're pecking away at Ryan.
Yeah, and he has not thrown over 100 pitches since his last start before he went on the disabled list the first time. That was back in the latter part of May, so he may be tiring.
Well, you're in the top of the 5th inning. He's thrown 61 pitches so far. Ojeda squares to bunt, and Glenn Davis and Phil Garner could shake hands with him by the time Ryan brought the ball to the plate, and he fouled it off. Well, I guess he didn't foul it off. It's up on the board as ball 1. Pulled his bat away and has a good look now down to now it is a strike. I thought he fouled that ball. He looks down to Harrelson now and steps back in. Somebody got hit. The ball got hit with something. Pops it up. Ashby coming back and can't get to it, and Phil Garner is right there with him. And it's 2 strikes.
There's one of those situations where you may not want to make the catch if you're a catcher or a third baseman. The reason being, if you make the catch, you're out of position so badly that Santana tagging at first may get to second anyway. So all pop flies that are foul, you may not want to make the catch. His intent right now, Ojeda that is to get the runner to second base, no more.
He's going to try the bunt one more time and gets it down. And Garner whips it to second. Back to first. Got him at second. And missed him at first. Boy, that was close at second base.
Well, the artificial surface presents such a problem for guys who are trying to get the ball down. Look how close Garner is. Close enough to shake hands. It was a close play at second base. Santana is out, and the throw to first, not in time to get Ojeda.
And Dykstra comes to the plate. Lynn is 0 for 2. Well, they made the Mets pitcher, he had to run hard to first. He was involved, if you remember, in a couple of hurried, rolling around on the ground type plays back in the 2nd inning. And he's out on the base pass having run hard, and Dykstra lofts one high and deep to right, but well fouled. Just depends on legs and wind, doesn't it, as to how hard that pitcher can work physically. Down goes Dykstra.
Dykstra staring out at Nolan Ryan. If you remember last night, Dwight Gooden shaved Kevin Bass after the home run by Glenn Davis. That was close. Playing for all the marbles. 2 teams in their silver anniversary going for the gold, and what a picnic out there. That was close, though. Very, very close.
Got that breaking pitch on the outside corner after having decked him to make it 1-2.
Tell you, a hitter's greatest delight after being knocked down like that is to get a line drive back through the middle. Try to get even that way. That's really the only defense you have.
Get in the hole, past shortstop, into left field. Base hit, Ojeda to second, and Dykstra is aboard at first.
Good curveball by Ryan, and a little punch shot by Dykstra. See, he was fully extended, but he did have the bat back, which gave him the authority to hit the ball sharply the other way.
And now Wally Backman at the plate. 1 for 2 and scored the first run to the New York Mets in tonight's ball game. Mets are leading 2-0 and batting in the top of the 5th inning. And with 2 out, they've got a threat building here with Ojeda, the pitcher, the lead runner at second, and Dykstra on at first. The pitch is low. Last night's ball game there. That pitch is high.
I think you might see some action now in the Houston bullpen. That dugout is stirring.
And here they go. Anderson, I think Larry Anderson, one of those heading that way. Right-handed pitcher. That ball is grounded to center field. Base hit. Ojeda coming around third. Here's the throw. They let it go through, and it bounces past Ashby to the backstop, and the other runners will move up. It is 3-0 New York. Dykstra over to third, and Backman moves up to second on the throw.
Well, Billy Hatcher did everything right on this throw to try to get Ojeda, except throw the ball down the line. If this throw is true, Ojeda's an easy out. Not your Spalding guide slide right there, but it is a run, and that's what the Mets wanted. But Billy Hatcher, had that throw not been offline, he would have had Ojeda at home.
As a matter of fact, it was almost Ojeda was so slow getting around the corner that almost possible for someone else to handle the ball to cut it off and still get it. But they didn't. And so the runners are now at second and third. It's an error on the throw in from center field. Three to nothing. Mets have 6 hits. And the batter is Keith Hernandez. Time call. Something has fallen out of the stands. And that is no pitch. Doug Harvey, the right field umpire, down the line had called time because a ball had come out of the bullpen and ricocheted around the corner, and he had called time well before the pitch was made to the plate. Larry Anderson, right-hander, beginning to warm up. He's a middleman for the Houston Astros, and right now the Mets are building themselves a little cushion.
I'll tell you, Nolan Ryan just called for Alan Ashby out to the mound. You rarely see a pitcher like that do that. And Ashby went out there, and Ryan was motioning back to Wally Backman at second base. Sometimes a runner at second may not be giving a pitch, but he may be giving location.
And with Hernandez at the plate, you certainly don't want to give him any more advantage than he already has. That ball is hit sharply. It's past Hatcher against the wall. 2 more runs score. Mets lead it 5-0. Hernandez headed for third. Triple. And a bit of gloom now settled over the Houston Astros dugout.
That's only the second triple of the year for Keith Hernandez, and the reason he got that triple was because of the dive by Billy Hatcher, giving a valiant effort trying to catch that ball. He had Hernandez played a little bit toward left center because Ryan is still throwing the ball. Well, Hernandez with a triple.
And Gary Carter now steps in, and Ryan bends him away with a pitch that's up high and inside. Ryan scoring the game now 5-7-0 for the Mets, 0-4-1 for the Houston Astros. Houston won it last night 1-0 on a 5-hitter by Mike Scott. That ball is hit in the air to center field, but playable and right at Hatcher. And Hatcher makes the catch to retire the side. But it is a big inning for the New York Mets as they add 2 more runs to their total. And now in the middle of the 5th, lead the Astros 5-0.
Hello. To help you to